Part of the fun of being creative and making art is getting better at it. If we could find ways to become more intelligent, that would have a great influence on our ability to make art. Just imagine for a minute what it would be like if you could double your intelligence. How would that be? First, I want to rant a little bit now. I'll start off with a simple analogy. Say that the next greatest supercomputer has just been turned on, and it is just amazing. It's incredible. And okay, we've got it running, we've got it up and running, we've run the test, it has an amazing ability. And then half the time they run a automated tic-tac-toe game. It plays tic-tac-toe with itself half the time. And then on the other side of the city, you have a group of that in a garage, they use Raspberry Pi computers to put together not that great a supercomputer. It barely makes it classified as a supercomputer, but they have plans. They want to use it to create weather models and work on artificial intelligence and model chemical reactions in the blood, and they're finessing it in such a way that the results are just some of the greatest results that come about from working with computers that happened that year. So it's popular these days to think of intelligence, like the IQ test, as something you can test for, and this is how intelligent you are, and it's this static state. But if you want to have your intelligence become this amazing thing that can flourish and become the best it can be and take you places you've never gone before, look at it a different way. Think of intelligence as taking place in time. So the human life is so short that we are all given a certain amount of time, and each one of those moments in our lives is a chance to use our intelligence. And how often we utilize our intelligence at each moment in the long run determines how intelligent we are. And it has an accumulative effect, so that if you develop habits of using your intelligence over time, you enjoy the benefits of a much more intelligent person. If I were to identify with the two supercomputers I described in my analogy, I would liken myself more to the group in the garage with the Arduino boards or Raspberry Pi boards. It's more, my intelligence has to do more with finessing it than, I don't know for sure, but I don't think I'm the latest, greatest supercomputer out there. Now, I have never taken an IQ test, and I don't plan to. As a dyslexic, I am suspicious of other people defining for me how my limits of cognitive ability. And remember, nobody ever won the Nobel Prize for being a good speller. On the other hand, I have met people who tell me that they have scored very high IQs, and I've watched and seen how they conduct themselves, what they do with their life, the quality of an estimation of how intelligently they are in each moment of their lives. And to tell you the truth, they didn't seem that much more extraordinary than your run-of-the-mill everyday human being. So as artists, we want to learn to tap our cognitive ability. We want to release it. We want to gain I really think that most humans could gain super intelligence. So the most valuable thing to someone very interested in making art is the real estate of their own mind. And this is the most precious, valuable real estate. And the way to claim that is to spend more time paying attention to how that resource is used. Let's get to the good stuff. I will share with you the best technique I have ever come across for liberating my intelligence, and basically it plays off the idea of a mantra. Now, a mantra is something that is used to reach a meditative or mystical state, and it's basically a phrase that is repeated over and over and over again. And here's the phrase I want to introduce. It is, I leave worldly cares behind. I want to only be interested in my art. Now, this is a mantra that you can repeat over and over and over again when you go to your art making session. When you're done with your art making session, you're done with that practice. Then you can go on and go and get pizza, or whatever, wash the windows, sweep the floor, whatever you need to do. But during that time, now the way the human mind works, think of music. There are certain ways that the mind works where it handles repetitive tasks very well in certain ways, and a mantra fits in with this. If we start saying the mantra, then we can continue to say it in our mind without needing to it frees up our conscious effort, so we can let it run in the background and get in the habit of repeating it. And basically it's an instruction to the subconscious, and what you are doing is you're clearing up all that subconscious effort that's wrapped up in, did you pay your bills? What about the leak in the roof? What about what your friend said to that friend? What do you need to do on Wednesday? All of that stuff that's hogging all your resources, you're giving an instruction to your supercomputer. You're saying, okay, I want to free up my cognitive ability. For now, I'm not going to die. Me as an animal trying to survive, I'm not jeopardizing my survival by momentarily letting go of all those survival-related cognitive processes, so that I can all of a sudden free up my mind for creativity and for writing and making something new. So by repeating that mantra, it brings us, it generates a mystical state. And now I'm using mystical very much in, how do I explain it? It's a very natural thing. I'm not talking about being, tuned into other realities or anything. I'm talking about an enlightened state of mind. Not absolute enlightenment, but there are different kinds of enlightenment. And this is one that we can reach that is very conducive to getting in the zone and having a great time creating art. Repeat after me. For now, I give up all worldly cares. I am only interested in making art. And start repeating that when you go to your typewriter, when you get your pencils and paper out. Start repeating that. And you don't have to think about it. You can just let it run in the background. Now, all human beings are obsessed. They are obsessive thinkers. Every single person walking the earth is obsessed. And the reason they aren't seen as that is because they are obsessed with the regular day-to-day stuff that makes up survival and all that stuff. And so day and night, humans' brains are locked into the same things, repeating over and over, going through the same calculations over and over, playing that tic-tac-toe game over and over again. But in modern society, we just don't need to do that. So the mantra I gave you, it doesn't stop there. Create your own. I come up with new mantras all the time, and I might use a mantra, it could be as directed as, I won't think about home improvement for now. I don't know, whatever. You get my point. You can improvise and come up with your own mantras and start to decide, no matter, just do it 3 times a day where you stop and say, what am I thinking about right now? And try to, and now naturally, it's called subconscious for a reason. There are a lot of things, a lot of times when we're not fully aware. And just remember, it's always a little bit difficult to become aware of what we're thinking of subconsciously and what is happening subconsciously. So don't strain too much. Remember, it is the subconscious. Don't try to force it too much, but just try to become a little bit more conscious of what you're thinking, what you're obsessing over, what mental models are dominating your mind, and do it 3 times a day, and then you can create these mantras where you start freeing up your mind. So you might be on the bus and you can say, the mantra could be, I want to think about music, and just repeat that over and over again, and let that instruct your subconscious. And as long as you realize, first of all, your subconscious is very concerned with keeping you alive. That is the way that we've evolved. But I'm not just talking about getting food and killing the lion. Because we are social animals, it has a lot to do with our social reality. But it's very unnecessary. We can spend some time thinking about what we need to do to survive as social animals. Make it to work, make sure the alarm clock is set. But we don't need to be obsessed with it all the time. We can use our conscious mind to decide how much we need to devote our intelligent capabilities to that. And I found out that I can get by just fine freeing up, let's say, 98% of my intelligence for other purposes. So this kind of activity, what I'm proposing here, it gone about the wrong way, it can start to seem really difficult. So always remember, relax. You can find ways to make it easy to gradually make this more part of your life. Start to evaluate your intelligence purely on how you're using your mind through the course of the day. There are a lot of times where our mind real estate is freed up. We're doing a repetitive task, or like, let's say that we're going from point A to point B, or we're just trying to get something done, where our mind real estate is totally freed up. But how do we use it? If we can patiently, gradually start to make use of that time, when we can bring intelligence online and start using it, then we can start to see the benefits. And year after year, as we get better at it, we can enjoy our intelligence growing, getting stronger, and increasing in resolution and cognitive abilities. And one thing that is really a lot of fun to do is to find a good book to read. I can remember when I picked up and started reading The Singularity is Near. For that time that I read that, I was taken to another level. So much of my brain, different parts of my brain got on board with that, reading that book, and I had a great time enjoying the benefits of for that time being brought up to a higher state of cognitive ability. So go to your local library, ask for a list of the banned books in that library, and go out and find a copy of one of those books and find out if it's a good book or not. So for a long time I was really into this, so I would tell myself that I'm only as intelligent as I'm being at that moment, and I was a little bit more inwardly, I was like the chop hardcore disciplinarian to myself about it. But I don't need to be like that, and we're all interested in quality of life, and if you do these kind of practices over time, then when you go back, you can enjoy reflecting on how there were so many moments in your life where you had this precious gift. You had this you had this precious resource just waiting to be used, and yes, you made use of it, and there you could have these memories of time when you went ahead. This great resource was being overlooked by so many people, but you found and you made use of that great resource. Now, I know in American culture we like to categorize intelligence as high IQ, low IQ, I guess. But I think a model that can work better is the idea of stages of enlightenment. And when we reach a level of an enlightenment, that is when we are enjoying a greater intelligence. We have reached a new level of intelligence, and there are, the times when you can become scientifically enlightened. You can be enlightened by taking a course at your local community college. There are times when we become more intelligent people. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I could continue, but I think that I've given you enough to where you can take it from there and create your own approaches to life and your own techniques. And if you come up with any, or this reminds you of something, please leave a comment below so that others that watch this video can benefit from it. I hope this was helpful. If you want to get me back, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend about my videos, and please go and check out my bizarre alternative fiction project at solomation.com. These are free episodes of the story Terrible Immunity, about my protagonist Lily's very strange adventure. I hope your artwork, your writing, your creativity goes very well, and have a good day.